force, work, and energy. Force. You have learned about force in the previous class. The push or pull applied to an object is called force.
Let us first understand about push and pull. A lighter object needs less force to move than a heavier object. Push. Push is an action in which you move an object away from yourself. Pull. Pull is an action in which you move an object towards yourself. Hence, we have understood that when you push or pull an object, you apply force on it. Effect of force applied. If force is applied on an object, there will be some effect. A force can cause an object to change its position, accelerate, slow down, stop, or change shape or direction. Let us take a few examples to understand. Example 1. If you push a trolley to move it, you are applying force. The force applied to the object causes it to change in its position. Example 2. If you kick a rolling ball in the same direction as it is moving, it will make the ball move faster. In this case, the force applied to the object has caused it to accelerate. However, if you kick a rolling ball from any side, it will make the ball change its direction. However, if you kick a rolling ball from any side, it will make the ball change its direction. Hence, in this case, the force applied to an object has caused it to change its direction. Example 3. If a trolley is going down the slope, you will have to pull the trolley to slow it down or stop. So the force applied to the object will make it slow down.
Example 4. If you apply force using your hands on clay, it will change its shape. The force applied to the object will make it change its shape. Now, let us understand the relation between the amount of force applied and the movement of the object. Look at the picture of a girl on a swing. You must apply force to move the swing to and fro. If the force is more, the movement of the swing will be more. Let us take another example. We have all played cricket. The harder you hit the ball with a bat, the faster the ball will roll. Hence, we can say that the amount of force applied is directly proportional to the movement of the object to which the force has been applied. Types of forces. There are two types of forces, the contact force and the non-contact force.
The contact force. Contact force is the force which exists between two objects which are in contact with each other. Let us learn some different kinds of contact force. For example, when we kick a ball, the foot touches the ball. The muscular force. The force which results due to the action of muscles is called muscular force. For example, throwing the ball, lifting curtain, opening the door, pulling the drawer all involve muscular force. We also use muscular force to work with instruments. For example, we use muscles of the hand to cut vegetables using a knife. Similarly, we use a muscular force to hit the ball using a bat.
The frictional force or friction is a force which acts on all moving objects.
The force of friction always acts in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object. It is a contact force which arises only when the surface of two objects touch each other.
Let us take an example. What happens when you give a toy car a push? It will move for a distance, then slows down and stop. Similarly, what will happen if you stop pedaling while cycling? The cycle will move for a while and then stop. What makes a toy car and a cycle stop? It is a friction which makes them stop. The wheel of the cycle and the surface of the road are in contact with each other. There is a frictional force acting between them in the direction opposite to the motion of the cycle. This causes the cycle to stop once pedaling is stopped. The same happens in the case of a toy car. The rougher the surface, the more friction is produced. That is why we have grooves on the tires. Presence of grooves make the surface of the tire rough. Hence, the frictional force is more. This prevents the vehicle from skidding.
Friction can be a useful force too. It is because of friction that we can walk on the floor or even write on a paper. Do you know how applying brakes helps to stop the vehicle? When brakes are applied, the brake pads press against the wheel rims and cause friction. The friction stops the wheels from going around.
In some cases, we also want to reduce the friction. You must have seen your parents oiling the door hinges or machinery parts sometime. Oil is used to reduce friction. In some cases, friction is destructive also. For example, the soles of the shoes wear out after some time because of friction. Similarly, the wheels of the vehicle need to be replaced after some period. The non-contact force.
Non-contact force is the force which exists between two objects which are not in contact with each other. Let us learn some different kinds of non-contact force. A gravitational force. The gravitational force, also called gravity, is the force applied by the earth on every object. This is the reason why any object, when thrown up, eventually comes down towards the earth. Even if you jump, you will return to the ground. Similarly, the gravitational force of the sun keeps the earth and all the other planets of the solar system is a fixed orbit. Gravity was discovered by a scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. Newton was sitting under a tree when an apple fell from the tree. Newton wondered what made the apple fall towards the ground. This made him study and discover gravity.
Magnetic force. The force exerted by the magnet is called magnetic force. It is a non-contact force as it does not require the object to be in touch with each other. You must have done the activity above. The magnet and the iron nails were not in touch with each other. There was a force which was exerted by the magnet. Due to this force, the iron nails got attracted and stuck to the magnet.
Work. In science, work is said to be done when the force applied to an object causes it to change the position or shape. Let us take a few examples to understand. Example 1. Hold a balloon in between the palms. Press the balloon with the palm. It will change its shape. The force applied to an object has caused the object to change its shape. Hence, the work is said to be done. Example 2. Push the book kept on a table. It will move. The force applied to an object has caused the object to change its position. Hence, the work is said to be done. Example 3. Try to push a wall. However hard you push, you will not be able to move the wall. The force applied to an object is not causing any change in the position, motion, or shape of the object. Hence, no work is said to be done.
Work and energy. Energy is defined as capacity or ability to do work. We have understood that when a force causes an object to move, work is being done on the object by force. We need the energy to do any work. This means that work, force, and energy are dependent on each other. Energy exists in several forms. For example, as light, kinetic, or potential energy. Energy can change its form but can never be created nor destroyed. The sources of energy can be classified into renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. Renewable sources of energy. Renewable sources of energy are those sources which are constantly renewed by nature. They do not get exhausted. The solar energy. We know that the sun gives both light and heat. We can use both as energies. The energy that we get from the sun is called solar energy. Plants tap this energy to prepare their food. In this process, the solar energy is converted into chemical energy food. Solar energy can also be tapped using special type of solar cells. The solar cells tap solar energy to generate electricity. Solar energy is a clean, renewable source of energy. Have you seen a solar cooker? The solar cooker is a device which taps the solar energy and converts it into heat energy. The heat energy cooks the food in the solar cooker. The wind energy. The wind is the natural movement of the air across the land or sea. The energy of the wind is tapped by the windmill to generate electricity. The water energy. There is a lot of energy in the flowing water and tides. This energy is tapped by dams in hydropower plants and converted to electricity. The geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is the energy stored in the interior of the earth. This energy is tapped to generate electricity. You know that some volcanoes contain very hot lava in them. We can use that heat also to produce electricity. Non-renewable source of energy. Non-renewable sources of energy are those sources which cannot be renewed by nature. They can get exhausted as their supply is limited. Some examples of non-renewable sources of energy are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So people are turning to renewable sources of energy. They are buying electric scooters instead of petrol scooters. These scooters are less expensive to use also. Let's sum up. The push or pull applied to any object is called force. A lighter object needs less force to move than a heavier object. A force can cause an object to change its position, accelerate, slow down, stop, or change shape or direction. The amount of force applied is directly proportional to the movement of the object to which the force has been applied. There are two types of forces: contact force, non-contact force. Contact force is the force which exists between two objects which are in contact with each other. For example, muscular force. The force which results due to the action of muscles is called muscular force. Frictional force or friction is the force which acts on all moving objects. The force of friction always acts in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object. Non-contact force is the force which exists between two objects which are not in contact with each other. For example, the gravitational force. The gravitational force is also called gravity, discovered by a scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. The force exerted by the magnet is called magnetic force. Work is said to be done when the force applied to an object causes it to change the position or shape. Energy is defined as the capacity to do work.